Hey guys, and welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerus, and today's forecast is looking pretty crappy because we're playing monsters and weather. And this is kind of like the next step from my beginner weather deck. If you want to keep going with weather, this is definitely somewhere that you could go with monsters and weather. And it's a really nifty little deck. You basically have weather for all the rows in different cards. So you use cards to play weather rather than weather effects themselves, because then you get more points out of them. And then on top of that, you have Dagon for like very specific row weather. And you have Ragnarug for literally every row weather. Like this plays weather in every single row. And yeah, so it's very kind of weather dependent and used to control your opponents by basically putting lots of weather out, which they won't be able to clear skies, all of. And then you can also remove their cards with a lacerate, for example, which is why we have 3 of them. So, golden cards, we have Caretaker, immune to weather, spawn a frost effect, and 2 wild hunt hounds. So this is, the wild hunt hounds have 2 strength and they're immune to weather as well. So this is a 10 strength frost, basically. And this is kind of what we've done here with this deck is, like I said, we've replaced our weather effects with cards that spawn weather. So we get 10 strength and you get frost. Then we have the woodland spirit, immune to weather, spawn 3 rabid wolves. Rabid wolves are 1 strength effects. And fog. And then the fog also pulls out our 3 foglets. So we get 16 strength out of a woodland spirit as well as the fog effect. So again, a really nice card there. Then we've also got our 2 ancient foglets, which just synergize quite nicely with the fog. We have Caretaker. Now, Caretaker, I think, is the best monster card. This is such a strong legendary. The ability to take a card from your opponent's deck and resurrect it. It's non-gold, non-permadeath, but, you can steal silver cards, for example, is just a really big play. And, he's often worth way more than the 6 value that you have. You could, alternatively, if you're going for, like, fewer legendaries, you can always run something like Geralt Ard. You move 3 non-gold units on the opposite row, 1 row back, and remove 1 strength from all those moved units. So you can use this to move rows, say from the front or the middle, back a row into a weather row, and then they get debuffed down to 1, and then it removes 1 strength and it kills them. So Ard is another option. I just feel like, because we have the lacerates and stuff, Ard is not as viable or not as useful as something like a Caretaker, which can be really big. The other legendary we have in this deck is our good friend Ragnarug. Now, Ragnarug, he spawns frost, fog, and rain effects. So it gives you all 3 of the weathers. And because, well, actually, your back row isn't particularly weather immune, but the rest of your rows are weather immune. So this is really good for just, debuffing your opponent, like, as a final card. They spend ages buffing their units. You just throw weather in every row. It's pretty good. Now, the reason the back row isn't super weathered is because we've got the 2 wyverns and the 2 griffins, but I think these are worth running in the deck, even though they don't have weather immunity like every other card in this deck, because you can just choose to play them on a turn that you don't play Water Hag or that you don't play Ragnarug. And Wyvern is an 8 strength unit, like you remove 3 strength from an opposing non-gold unit, and it's 5 strength. So you can use this to deal with stuff like, Neckers, for example, and Consume are very common. The 3 strength removal is quite nice. And you can always combo this with something like a Lacerate, for example, to get even more damage out. And we've also got a couple Griffins, which you can use to steal cards from your opponent's graveyard, which I think, again, is just a really strong mechanic, especially against Skellige, for example, that resurrect loads and loads of cards. So we've gone with those. And you want to be playing these on turns that you're not playing, like I said, Ragnarug. Or Water Hag, which is one of our silver cards. Immune to weather, spawns a rain effect. So you get rain in the back row. Which is really nice. It's just if you want to debuff the back row. It's kind of like the Woodland Spirit and the Corinthia, but silver, so, not worth nearly as much strength. Then as you're spawning all of these weathers, we have Sarah, who is immune to weather and gains 3 strength every time a weather effect appears. So if you play Sarah and Ragnarug, this is 3 weathers, she gains 9 strength from that. And she can definitely be problematic if people don't remove her with how much, like I say, weather we have in this deck. We also have a Ice Giant. Ice Giant is immune to weather and gains 5 strength each time a frost effect is spawned on the unit's row. So you can chuck out your Ice Giant, then your Corinthia, and the Ice Giant gets buffed. Alternatively, if you want to frost, you've got your Dagon as well to get the frost out, and Ice Giant's pretty fun. We also have 3 Wild Hunt Riders. So Wild Hunt Riders, immune to weather, play all Wild Hunt Riders from your deck. So this is just for deck thinning. You can play 1 and then you get, 2 out of it. So it's a 9 strength card, basically. It thins your deck and it's immune to weather. So again, pretty nice. Then in terms of our remaining special cards, we have Commander's Horn. Commander's Horn I like as a silver card because you can use it to buff your Neckers or your Wild Hunt Riders. But ideally, if you're running this deck, you want Ogvist. I just don't have Ogvist, but we'll talk about him in a second. So if you're going to put Ogvist in, I would take Commander's Horn out. We have Dimmeritian Bomb, that's just really good against, say, the Scoia'tael Elven Merc deck. That was my previous deck video, if you want to check that one out. And also against Consume Monsters. We have Scorch. I mean, we don't have any huge strength units, so Scorch is actually quite nice for removing any big problems from our opponent. And then we have 3 Lacerates. Now, if you don't want to run 3 Lacerates, I know some people don't like to. You know, you could always run, for example, the Wild Hunt Warrior, for example. Where is he? He's in here somewhere. 5 strength. Remove 1 strength from an opposing non-gold unit and gain 2 strength if the unit is destroyed. So you could use him, for example, if you want to have points rather than Lacerate. I just feel like with the current meta, Lacerates are so useful. And it's a nice card to run in the deck. Now, if you have Okvist, run Okvist. I just don't have him, and I haven't got the scrap at the moment to craft him, and grinding out legendary scrap takes a while. But Okvist, if I show you guys here, in I think he's in the neutral collection, actually. He's a neutral silver. He is a legendary card. After 4 turns, remove 1 strength from all opposing non-gold units, then return Okvist to your hand, set its base strength to 6, and remove its ability. Now, the big deal here is if Okvist doesn't get removed, after 4 turns, he removes 1 strength from all opposing non-gold units. So what you do is you wait until he's just about to trigger, and then you could play, for example, Ragnarug, and put Weather on all of the lanes, reducing all the non-weather immune non-gold cards down to 1 strength, then Okvist just kills them all. Like, it's a really nice combo because you don't have to set the weather and then play the Lacerate. You can play the weather and then have this trigger. And that's why I think he's a really good card in this deck. But, like I said, I don't have him. And if I did have him, I'd put him in there. Anyway, guys, let's jump into a game and I'll show you guys the deck in action.
There is but one punishment for traitors.
Okay, so we got Emir and Nilfgaard. Now, in terms of the mulligan, you want to find 1 Wild Hunt Rider. If you have it, you don't want more than 1, and you want to get rid of all regular Foglets. Regular Foglets are not your friend. D-Bomb, Horn, Scorch, Water Hag, a couple Wyverns, Griffin, Corinthia, and Woodland Spirit. This isn't too bad. We've got a mix of weather. Water Hag, you know, and Wyverns, they don't really go together. But all in all, we got a couple golds, we got some silvers. Now, we could mulligan to try and find, you know, something instead of the Wyvern, but there's a risk that we get the Wild Hunt Rider. So that's something to bear in mind there. And we traded a Wyvern for an Ancient Foglet, which is fine. They're similar value units, all things told. Okay, so he's opening with Fringilla. We're going to play out our Wild Hunt Riders and get them out of our deck so that we don't risk drawing them. And then we're also going to play our Woodland Spirit to get the Fog out, and that will also get the Foglets out of our deck, which means on the next turn's draw, we should be likely to get better cards than, you know, Wild Hunt Riders and Foglets, which ultimately we don't want to be drawing. We have Water Hag in hand, so we have an option of putting Rain out on the back row to remove his Fringilla strength. But for now, a nice opening play, if you have the cards, is Wild Hunt Riders into Woodland Spirit into Ancient Foglet. Because Ancient Foglet you then keep, and you get a lot of strength out, because the Woodland Spirit obviously gives you, well, like 16 strength. And the Riders get you 9, so in 3 cards, or 2 cards, you've got 25 strength.
Patience is not a virtue I am known to have.
We can also actually Scorch the Fringilla. That is another option. Which I didn't actually think about until he revealed my Scorch. So there's the Fog, there's our points. And all in all, I think we're in a nice position. The other thing is, like, we have the same number of cards as him, with 15 points on him, so, you know, if he keeps playing here, you know, things are pretty good. I think we go Foglet over Scorch for now. And we can always Scorch afterwards. That way we still keep our Foglet with our monster power, rather than keeping something like our Ancient Foglet, sorry, rather than a regular Foglet. At the moment we'll keep it a regular Foglet, and then because the Fog despawns, the regular Foglet will be removed, which means we keep nothing. So we'll wait and see what our Nilfgaard opponent wants to play. I mean, the thing to note here is we're not getting a huge amount of benefit out of the Fog in terms of debuffing. But all in all, I think that's fine. Huh. Okay. So we'll put our Foglet out. So we've got 12 points on him still, which is really nice. And this honestly is an okay place to pass, although he did just lock my my Ancient Foglet. I mean, if he wants to win the round, he has to play another card, and then we're at a 2-card advantage going into the final round. So I think that's fine. Even though, I mean, we're keeping a 1 because of the Ancient Foglet lock, but all in all, like, we've got a really strong card advantage now. And I think having such a good card advantage is really nice. So that's good. And we thinned our deck, which is kind of what we wanted to do on the first round.
Wise choice.
So that's an interesting one because He just managed to win it by 1 point. I was gonna say, has he done the maths? Because I hadn't done the maths, so I was wondering if he would actually get enough points out of that, but I don't know. I think having a 2-card disadvantage is like a big deal. All things considered. He actually is now out of fog, so he's gone back up to 5. Is there anything in the graveyard that I feel like I need to remove? Nothing hugely. I don't want to remove anything in case he Vic of Aromedics it out of my graveyard. That's one thing that Nilfgaard can do, is they can take cards out of your graveyard. So if I Griffin, then, you know, he then takes it back. We're in a bit of an awkward spot. We do have Ragnarok here, which is nice. Lots of weather options. But if we're going for Wyvern strategy, which we might do this round, Wyverns and Griffins, then we don't really want to play Ragnarok, and we don't really want to play Water Hag, because, you know, that's gonna kind of cause us some trouble. The other thing you can always do with Dagon, if you don't feel like you have the cards you need, is
Your life is mine now.
is you can what am I trying to say? Is you can First Light and then Rally. So you can always use him to just pull a bronze card out of your deck, whether we find a Foglet or a Wyvern or a Griffin. You know, there's options there. Let's have a quick look. I mean, like I say, none of this is hugely problematic. There's nothing... He's looking in my graveyard, which means I think he's considering a Vic of Aromedic. So, potentially we actually hold off on the Griffin. This is the thing. This is the thing you need to kind of be a little bit cautious of. And this is why it helps to know, you know, the kind of cards that your opponent might play. He's not really sure what he wants to do, though. Alza's Thunder. So that was interesting. He Alza's Thundered a 5. I mean, we could just go for Corinthia and, you know, get the points on the board. Because we've got, you know, Frost in hand anyway. So I'm not really too worried about the benefits of the Frost here. And putting Frost out then discourages him to play his Nilfgaardian Knights, which have, you know, high strength, but you're going to play them into Frost. It also means then if he has a First Light, we can try and bait it out now, you know, while the weather's not really doing much, rather than later on. Anyhow, we'll wait. This guy's quite slow to play. We don't have the greatest of hands. Like, it would have been nice to have, you know, more Foglets. Or maybe to have used, maybe we should have used the Griffins and the Wyverns on the previous turn. But we got a 2-card advantage, so I feel like this is okay. I just don't want a Wyvern for 2. I'd rather Wyvern for 3. Where's that going? We don't really have an option against the Rot Tosser. Often you can like decoy it or Alzur's Thunder it or lacerate it, but I think we're just gonna have to accept that we're gonna lose a few points here. And all in all, you know, that's okay. This round, I don't think we want to Scorch. This round, I think we're just trying to, you know, whittle away his points with our units. And then if he plays anything particularly strong, we can always Scorch. I guess that's going on in the back row. Huh, middle row. What this makes me think is he's going to play a spying unit. Often what people do is they play a spying unit. So they'll play a spying unit into the cow carcass, but then that doesn't make any sense because there's a 2-strength Foglet here. So I really don't understand why he played that. But what it does mean we can do is Scorch because he's got a 7-strength Rot Tosser. So we'll just kill that and remove his points. And he's got 2 points. I mean, we don't really have a lot of points, but neither does he. And if he plays out points, we have like so much weather to counter them. There's the Vic of Aromedic. So that is something like I expected him to be playing. I assume he'll take the Wyvern. I don't know why you take a Foglet. I mean, maybe he thinks I'm doing fog strategies. Which we're not, for the record. So we can always debomb our Wyvern, but it kind of feels a bit like a waste. I think for now we'll play our Griffin. And go for... I don't know what we want to take. I don't want to take anything that's really good for him to steal, you know? Like, whatever I take, he's possibly going to take back. So, potentially, we just take a Fire Scorpion, which he can use to do damage to us. But I needed the 6 points from the Griffin, really. Like, I can't pass until he passes, is the thing. What we could do now is play Fog and get our Foglets out. And then we have a target for Commander's Horn. So let's do that. Let's just use our Dagon for Fog, get the Foglets out, and also debuff everything in that front row. And then he chooses to pass. Which is not really surprising, all things considered. We still have last play, which is really nice here. In fact, I think we have last 2 plays, because we have 4 cards and he has 2. Although we do go first, so maybe just last play. Which means we can always play the Weather or the Commander's Horn last, depending on what order we choose to play these cards. Frost Giant's really nice. It's a really nice pick. We can basically just throw him out in the front row. I think we'll open with Water Hag. And then try and, you know, bait out any first lights that he might have. But all in all, I'm quite confident here. Nilfgaard doesn't really have many weather immune cards. And we can actually debomb the Geralt, so that when we play the Frost, he then becomes susceptible to it. Because that'll remove his golden status.
The Commissar will hear.
So that is definitely an option. So let's do that for now. Because we'll just debomb this. That makes it a silver, which means that the Frost, you know, that's it. And honestly, he can't do anything about it because he's, you know, lost 2 cards.
And I shall make it so.
Okay. We're going to play the Griffin. Because I don't want to play these 2 until I've seen his last 2. His last card. Basically, because I don't want him to play reactively. We'll take the Vic of Aromatic. I don't really want to take anything useful for him is the thing. There's nothing I need to worry about him playing. And yeah, that's definitely game to us. So we'll put out every kind of weather. Remove all of his points. Get out our Foglets. And then we can actually Commander's Horn them, you know, for good measure as well. Which we don't need to do, so I'm not going to do it. It's a bit BM. Or should I? Should I be BM? Let's do the BM. Just to show him who's the boss. Who is the Queen of Weather. And yeah, against Nilfgaard, I feel like the weather deck is actually really nice because Nilfgaard doesn't, like, they don't have a lot of kind of weather immune cards. So I think, and they don't have too much removal other than the Rot Tossers. So it went pretty well for us, all things considered. We'll jump into another game and I'll showcase this weather deck once more for you. And hopefully we'll get a different matchup.
Crush those vermin!
Okay, so we got Full Test, which is not a bad matchup. We're mulliganing these Foglets. We do not want the Foglets. And we can probably actually get rid of one of the Lacerates as well, just for some more kind of value cards. We've got a lot of silvers there. Full Test is, you know, it's an alright matchup. You don't really see him played that much. You know, the fact that they can make golden cards is quite frustrating, because golden cards are immune to weather. But, you know, if it was Henselt, that would be worse. So, all in all, I'm feeling pretty confident about this game. Unfortunately, we don't actually have our Woodland Spirit, so we can't play 3 Wild Hunt Riders, then Woodland Spirit, then Foglet.
Nothing to pick up when I'm done with you.
And honestly, this is not fun. We don't really have anything to you know, counteract this with. I think we just pass. If we had Dimeritium Bomb, we could have debombed Scorched. And if we had Fog, I guess we could have played a Foglet and then Fog strategies, but this is going to put us in a really awkward spot. So I think with this round, with that matchup, we just let it go. Which is annoying, you know, giving him points that quickly, but it is what it is. Sometimes, you know, the cards aren't in your favor, and there's not a lot you can do about that. We'll just have to win the next ones. Which would be great if we weren't drawing Foglets. Ah, dear. We actually don't have a huge amount of weather here. I guess we can always use our Dagon for weather.
I sense trouble.
So he probably is going to use this round to try and get card advantage, I would have thought. Which means that I expect to see maybe a pass here. He might keep going, but I would expect him to pass so that he gets card advantage. And then we have a really big, crazy final round. Oh, it's not to be. I don't know why he killed the Foglet. Like, the Foglet will come back. The Foglet shall return stronger than it was previously. What is in here? Nothing. The answer is nothing. I think we play a Foglet for now. We can play Fog with Dagon, and that's an alright play. That'll get our Foglets out. It'll give us a nice row for Commander's Horn. The only worry is, like, if we do that, Scorching is going to be a bit of a problem. But I think it's okay.
You one of us or not?
I think my Foglet might get shot here. It did, in fact, get shot. This does mean that Scorching would be pretty nice right now. We're just going to get Fog and let him play more cards. But at the moment, we can Scorch for 10. I want to try and wait and see if he gets another card out. Because if he gets another 5 out, then we're in a really nice spot for that. The problem... One of the problems here is we don't have that much weather.
But you won't.
Okay, that's very laceratable. If you're playing Poor Infantry, why are you playing Poor Infantry? Because you plan to buff them. So, do we kill them or do we wait for him to play more Poor Infantry? That is a good question. I'm just thinking what the best plan of action is here. I think we scorch and wait for him to play more infantry. I feel like he's going to play more infantry. Or he's going to, like, you know, Reaver Scout the infantry. Because I think if you're going to buff infantry, you want to get, like, multiple lots out. And I feel like that's what he's going to do. This is, like, kind of predicting your opponent. Is like, would I play more infantry or would I buff the 3 that I have? I think he's going to play more. Because often people like to play lots of infantry. And then we lacerate and kill all the infantry. That is my prediction here. It might be wrong, but that's what we're going with.
Uh-oh. Trouble approaches.
I mean, the other thing is we can always frost these, so it's not really too much of a problem. We'll play our other foglet now and get them out there. I don't really want to show my hand, you know, too soon, especially with some of the weather that I have. Like, I don't want to reveal that to him just yet. But we can soon. I think we're going to have to Ragnarok this turn. Okay, we have a few points. We'll get more points from these two. So I think maybe we can just play the Frost Giant for now. And get the Ice Giant out on the board. Because then these two guys will get buffed, and then we win the round. And we're at 1 card deficit, which is okay. Because I think we have what we need in here to win the round. We're gonna Caretaker his Priscilla. That's the first thing that we're gonna do. Because Priscilla is just generally pretty strong, and it's definitely a target for resurrections. Ooh, Caranthier, nice. Okay, we can get lots of Frost out. So let's Caretaker Priscilla.
Not a bad idea.
And then we get another card. Lacerate. Nothing. Ugh. The option was Lacerate or Lacerate, you guys. And I chose Lacerate. So if you think it was the wrong choice, then fair enough. He's actually got 2 card advantage because I forgot about her. Let's get Sarah out. Then we can Caranthier the front row. Oh, Sarah is dead. Sad times. So there's Caranthier. We do have, you know, more weather, so I'm not too worried. That's a nice row then to toot, because they are weather immune. I mean, we could play Griffin or in the back row, but there's no point tooting it because we're going to put weather there anyway. Right, the question then becomes, he should kill the 2, but he won't. Oh no, he will. The question becomes, what do I want to take out of his graveyard? And I think the answer is a Ballista, because if he gets the K20 support, it's fine because we can just weather, and then everything is good.
What do you want of me?
Oh, the lacerate is coming out, you guys. We're just gonna do that. The thing is, I don't want to lacerate these guys because I'm gonna weather them anyway, so you know it's fine. It's fine. The problem is his card advantage. I'm a little bit worried about that. He gets last 2, but
Uh-oh. Trouble approaches.
I think it's fine. Let's toot our front row. And then this guy's gonna get another 5 because we're gonna spawn another Frost. So we're gonna be in an alright position.
Hungry like a wolf, I am.
And here comes all of the weather. I don't know. I don't think he has enough first lights and clear skies to do anything about this. We ended on 47. And if he plays anything into weather, you know, that gets debuffed. So that's pretty good. I'm guessing K20 is what he'll go with. I don't think he would take poor infantry, unless he plans to buff them in some way.
Trouble approaches.
Because at least, you know, the buffs you get from this, like, they last. But yeah, no, this is pretty good. He's got full test and 1 card. And we're on 47 points, so we're all Gucci. We're all Gucci. And that's game. So yeah, again, another deck that you're good against is weather. Not weather, is Northern Realms. Northern Realms doesn't do so well. So weather actually is pretty good. And if it's like your kind of thing, then this deck is definitely a good one to play. But that's about it. Craft Ockfist, so that's what I'll say. I've been Jaggerus, and this has been my Gwent deck guide series. If you like this video, do hit that thumbs up button, guys, and let me know in the comments below what sort of decks you'd like to see in the future, or what kind of Gwent content you want to see, as well as other card games if you have any suggestions for games you want me to check out. Beyond that, you can find me live streaming Gwent and Smite Tactics at twitch.tv/Jaggerus. You can also find me on Twitter at Jaggerus, so if you want to follow me, then that would be pretty cool. Beyond that, have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!